Hey everybody, it's James Freeman. So today's video is coming to us from Yamhill Advocate on YouTube. He's also got a website, yamhilladvocate.com, where he publishes news stories. Before we go into the video real quick, I'm just going to give you a background. So basically what happened is he recorded a city council person at a city council meeting, or I think it might have been a school board meeting. At any rate, a city council member at a public meeting, Elise Holloman. He recorded the meeting. He also continued recording afterwards while he was having a conversation with Elise Holloman, in which Elise allegedly said some things that didn't make her look good. He published the recording on his website, and she has sent the police to bully and intimidate him, telling him that he cannot record these public officials without them knowing that he's recording. And they threatened to arrest him and slap charges on him, really essentially because he broke news about a dirty council member.
Just to be really honest with you, when this all started, I mean, I had to have my whole house, I'm going to get emotional. I'm going to be vulnerable with you for a second. Okay. My whole house outfitted with security because I had people casing my house because of the original article you put out. And, you know, a little, like, so it's triggering to me. Like, it's like, so it's triggering to me. Like, it's, my whole family was scared for me. The police were down the street watching my house because of threats I got from the article.
Sorry that happened. I never told anybody to threaten you guys. But that's not right.
I know, responsibility. It's knowing the environment. I agree. I believe that. But it's the environment we live in that's so hyper polarized on both sides.
So in the recorded conversation, Elise Holloman informs the journalist that she's triggered
like, so it's triggering to me. Like
by his journalism. Because when people see the way things that she does and the way that she acts, they get upset and it brings unwanted attention to her. And rather than just not acting like a piece of shit, she decided to call the police and file a report against him for recording a conversation with a local representative and public official, Elise Holloman, drawing even more attention to her and therefore catching my attention and getting me to cover this story. So now that you know the backstory, Elise Holloman called the sheriff's department to make a report that this guy recorded her without her permission. The next thing I'm going to show you is his video where the sheriff shows up. And to me, what it appears to be is police showing up and attempting to bully and intimidate a journalist into not publishing important information about local government officials.
You don't want to go in your office and talk? Yeah, fine. Okay. Well, the reason I'm here was regarding Mrs. Yamhill. Okay. And so, when you posted on your website and on Facebook a couple weeks ago.
I'm going to have to be more specific. So I have a new where I cover a lot of different stories, many of which have covered her part of the Yamhill, extremist group.
So this was the one when it was after the school thing going on over Newberg High School, and you and her had a conversation that you were recording on your phone.
Yeah. So I attended the panel and asked questions, and I could tell that they were very upset with me being there. So I decided to put my phone on recording because I assumed I would be approached afterward by some of them who would vent their frustrations at me.
Right.
And it just happened to be that she admitted, something that was really important. What they had constantly been denying is that the rest of the Yamhill group didn't extend to the Yamhill County part. So, I don't believe that's a crime because it was recording in a public place. We don't have any indication of privacy. Actually,
all right. So this man clearly knows his laws. You do not have an expectation of privacy in public. Now, that doesn't negate the fact that Oregon clearly wrote this unconstitutional statute, and it appears that that statute is on the books. Let's look at the statute that they're charging him with first. ORS 165.40. It was Section C. Basically, this is a wiretapping law. In Part A, it says you can't record a conversation that you're not a part of. basically means that it's a one-party consent state. As long as you're one of the parties, you can record. But then in Section C, a person may not obtain or attempt to obtain the whole or any part of a conversation if not all the participants in the conversation are specifically informed that their conversation is being obtained or recorded. So basically Part C says that you can't record anyone anywhere without their permission. And I would point to Katz v. US to show the double standard that government has. In Katz v. US, the FBI put a recording device on the outside of the phone booth and recorded Katz inside of the phone booth, and he argued that this was a violation of his Fourth Amendment. There was no warrant. He felt that he was entitled to privacy within that phone booth. In Katz v. US, the Supreme Court ruled that Katz had no expectation of privacy in that public phone booth. And I think this is an incredible case because, I mean, in general, I kind of think that even though the phone booth is in public, I personally would have expected to have at least some level of privacy in there. I go in, I shut the door. I expect that people aren't listening in on my conversation, but no, the Supreme Court said, no, that is in a public place. You don't have an expectation of privacy there. And so the government can absolutely record your conversations with people and record all of your acts out in a public place. Well, why then would it not be okay for the people to do the same thing to the government? Why then would it not be okay for you and I to either openly or discreetly record our government in a public place? Why is it that we don't have a reasonable expectation of privacy when being spied on by our government, but when we flip it around on them, all of a sudden they want to have some kind of expectation of privacy? It's this typical government rules for thee and not for me.
I can show you the ORS if you'd like.
You have no expectation of privacy in a public forum, a town hall setting inside of a school that has about 30 people in it.
Well, it is actually a crime. You can't record people without them knowing.
You have no privacy in a public forum.
Okay. Well,
It was being recorded, actually. The broadcast would be by panel.
So it's my understanding that this was done with, the meeting itself, and everyone was kind of chit-chatting. She approached her.
So he's reading that same statute that we just read. They've highlighted Section C for him there.
I'm not here to ask you, did you do it? Because I already know you posted about it on Facebook. It's just getting understanding why. Because I think you said something about it, how you felt kind of threatened by these types of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she has no expectation of being in a public place like that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, based on the ORS, it is a criminal act. Did do, so that's what I'm here. And I just kind of wanted to understand why.
I don't believe it's criminal act.
So, that's fine.
Smart man.
You're not getting arrested or anything like that. That's fine. It is a crime. I'm telling you this. That's why I'm here. If it wasn't a crime, law enforcement would be here talking to you.
I mean, I'm sure that you guys believe it is, but if you actually look at law in entirety, she has no expectation of privacy in a place literally being recorded, so it's not a crime.
Well, based on what isn't here and what I understand what happened there, criminal act. You can't do that. Without them knowing, you can't do that.
You know they have security cameras inside the school board too, right?
Never been inside that school.
Well, they did. She has no expectation of privacy.
And this guy makes an excellent point. The school has cameras, and they are recording him without his permission. I think that, you know, this statute is absolutely ridiculous and absurd, but if it's going to be used and applied, it needs to be applied equally. And criminal charges need to be slapped on every single government entity in Oregon that has cameras up recording people. I don't know about you, but I didn't consent to be recorded by Oregon government. If the legislation is legit, and if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Every one of these guys need. I wonder if these cops are wearing body cams. I wonder if they informed him that they're wearing body cams and that they're recording the conversation. I mean, it's just so ridiculous.
Well, all right.
That's really all I needed to confirm. Is what he said.
Like I said, you're not arrested or anything like that. I'm not taking you to jail and giving you a citation today. However, you probably will be cited here in the future for it. I'm not sure if it's going to be in the Yamhill County or not. It might that made out for the county.
What is that?
So basically, just due to past experiences with our county and being that she's a city councilor, she'll probably be taking place in a different county. She'll probably be signing some like Benton or Marion, Washington, or those counties.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not sure. I'll have to come meet you. I can either meet you here again or somewhere else, or if I can't find you after it's gone through the court system, go to the court. That makes sense.
Well, I'll follow with my lawyers and make
That's fine. You can have them contact me if you want to. But first, can I get your phone number so I have it right?
So to me, it almost looks like they never intended to arrest this guy or charge him. This actually, to me, looks like nothing more or less than a mafia walking into a business and trying to intimidate a business owner into not publishing unfavorable things about a local politician. They didn't charge him. They didn't arrest him. They just came in and, from what I can see, from my perception, made threats. That's all they did. This is dirty. So this guy doesn't live in Oregon. He flew home. A couple weeks later, he got a phone call from Yamhill County detective. The detective tells him that he needs to come and turn himself in for the criminal charge of recording a government official in a public place without the permission of said government official. The journalist basically tells the detective to fuck off.
You call when you're back in Newberg?
I might, or, I would prefer you guys still with public records requests, is what I prefer to do.
Well, that has nothing to do with me. I don't...
Well, it does actually have to do with you, because you guys are trying to violate my First Amendment rights, detective.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, because I'm actually not a resident of Oregon, is I'm going to have to move to federal court and I'm going to sue the Yamhill County Sheriff Department for violation of my First Amendment rights. That's what I'm actually going to do.
Okay, that's all well. So I will be, going forward then, I will be requesting a warrant if you're not willing to meet me. So that's how we're going to proceed forward, okay?
Okay, good luck with that, detective.
All right, thank you. Have a good day.
What just happened?
He's saying that he's going to get a warrant for my arrest for the citation.
What was the citation?
For recording a city official at a public meeting where she is there in her capacity as a public official talking about a project that she has done with one of her nonprofits and also has involvement from the city of Newberg, which is at the Newberg High School building, which has security footage there, was actually being live streamed. Ninth Circuit Court, which governs Oregon, has already ruled it's not a violation of any law. It's protected by First Amendment rights to record public officials when they're acting in their capacity, which she was. Like, she was there, announced that I'm, Newberg City Councilor as part of the meeting. So, it's not a crime to record public officials, especially when she's disclosing things that I consider to be admittance of financial campaign violation laws, which of the social activist group, Progressive Yamhill, that she's part of.
But
So we have a detective from the Yamhill County Sheriff Department who is claiming that this is a crime, wants to cite me. And he says if I won't appear, he's going to get a warrant for my arrest, which has to go through a judge, and this can be contested.
But the citation, citation's kind of like a slap on the wrist, isn't it? Can you just contest
No,
the citation?
because he's trying to charge me with a Class A misdemeanor. So in Oregon, that can carry a sentence of up to a year.
So that citation could...
So they're trying to potentially arrest me for an entire year for a news article that I published in my capacity as a journalist of a public official who is at a public meeting where there's tons of people around me at this meeting, and she is specifically talking about how she doesn't agree with my coverage of her as a public official.
Now, the last thing I want to point out is that in the recorded conversation with Elise Holloman, she pointed out that she was upset that she received threats after a story was published about her. I genuinely don't condone anyone doing this, but being in the public eye myself, I understand that this is an unfortunate part of being in the public eye. We are going to receive threats. However, most if not all of these threats are completely uncredible. Someone who's actually going to do us harm is just going to do it. They're not going to warn us first. Now, what Elise Holloman actually did was enlisted men with guns called police to go and threaten, bully, and intimidate this journalist for publishing a story about her with the intent to have a year of his life taken away from him, locked away in a cage. And it's unfortunate that she did receive threats, but the truth is none of them will ever be carried out. On the other hand, there are a team of individuals that are actually working towards physically taking away a year of this man's life on her behalf.
I've just sucked 1 year of your life away. I might one day go as high as 5, but I really don't know what that would do to you, so let's just start with what we have. How do you feel?
It's no wonder Carrie Martell at Yamhill Advocate started exposing this filthy bitch. I put links in the description to all the videos and stories that I could find that he's previously done on Elise. You can get caught up on the full story and then subscribe to his YouTube channel and news outlet so you get regular updates on this as it unfolds. Of course, there's also contact information for the city and the county in case you want to reach out to them and let them know how disgusted you are that they're trying to take away a year of this man's life for exposing their filth.